Hey everybody, here, welcome into Navarre Beach area. If you are looking to go ahead and purchase, invest, or just know a little bit about the market here in Navarre Beach, we're gonna go through all of that today. So today we're actually starting our journey here at the Welcome Center that just got built out not too many years ago. Here is 2025. Now has a nice park that's been sitting over here. Actually, we got the splash pad for kids. You can see the beach over here, and it's under construction, so we're not gonna go too far into everything today, but this is just one of the nice calm beaches you can go to, but we'll definitely check out that white sand beaches coming up here. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's talk about the 7 reasons why you may not want to move out here. Let's see the things that you may want to, may not want to, but of course by the end of this video, so we got everything that you want to know about to determine whether or not this area is going to be perfect for you. So come on, let's go check this out. All right, so we've come on out here to Navarre Beach. This is where you guys probably come to hang out. If you've known this area, you've been here to the most relaxing beach in all of Florida. That's been voted that way. Also was the beach that Jaws was done. If you've seen my previous videos on this area, you'll know. By the way, if you need to see some more about Navarre, we've got tons of videos. Check it out here towards the end, or check it out here on our channel. We got tons of information about this area. In any case, we're out here taking a look at it. One thing that I did want to talk about here is being here in Navarre. Really, it's going to be the commute time to get anywhere. Now, I'll say that if you are back across the way in Navarre to get down to the beach, most places you're going to be 15, maybe 20 minutes, depending on traffic, down here to the beach, really regardless of where you're going to be in Navarre, which is pretty nice. Now, if you are going to have to go out to your job that's not in Navarre, which most people here don't work here, it's going to be a bit of a commute. Now, for that commute, I would ask guys, what's a big commute for you? What I would do, leave it in the comments here below. I'd love to hear from you guys. For me, it's around 30 minutes or more. That's when it starts to become a long commute. Now, I will say, if you are going to be going out to Pensacola, Fort Walton Beach, Destin, maybe you're a military contractor or wearing the uniform, I'm a prior vet, totally get it. You're going to be looking, depending upon when you're leaving the base, like I mentioned before with the traffic, could be anywhere between 20, 30, sometimes up to 40 minutes getting to and fro. If you are stationed out at Eglin Air Force Base, it could be a little bit pushing the 40, maybe 45, 50 minutes. And good luck if there's traffic, because it sucks. Just keep that in mind when it comes to that. There's not a whole lot of public transportation that does come through here, although it does exist. But the congestion on 98 really will make the biggest difference when you're considering coming out here. So just keep that in mind. There's, again, not a whole lot of alternative routes to get around everywhere. I'm going to try not to get hit by a car. It's actually a golf cart because we are on the south side of 98, so I don't think that's going to hurt as much. But yeah, we're heading down over to the beach while we're talking about it. There it goes. All right, that may have hurt just a little bit. Okay, so we're down here by the water, so I also want to talk about insurance costs. Now, you'll see as well as behind me here with these big condo units here, if you are considering moving to one of these, Golf Colony down here, or any of these big units, most of the insurance as far as flood and everything else that you're going to be concerned about is usually part of your HOA. But if you do have a condo, really you're just worried about basically renter's insurance or content insurance that you would necessarily need to worry about over in here. So it's usually just the internal, maybe your HVAC, things like that. But for the building itself, wouldn't worry about it too much. Now, moving to the insurance costs for any of these other places that you're going to see down here, it will really depend on exactly where it's at. Most of the areas, surprisingly enough, maybe not here on the island, but in normal Navarre, that's what I'm going to call it, mainland, most of those aren't in a flood zone. So you don't necessarily have to have flood insurance for those properties, which is heck pretty nice, right? But the insurance is much higher because you have to have hurricane deductible on it. That's with every insurance that you're going to have, regardless if you're up there towards Alabama or if you're down here on the beach, you're going to have some sort of hurricane deductible that comes with it. Just going through that, it can be a little bit tougher. The newer the home that you do have, obviously the less of the insurance. We've got different things like 4-point inspections. We have wind mitigation inspections. That's going to help you with your insurance cost. So definitely could help there. Now, if you are going to be curious about that, guys, you can always reach out to us, give us a call, shoot us a text. We always have more of this information. Whether you're considering investing over here or purchasing, we've got you covered. Right now, we're going by the pier, which is another one of the restaurant bars area. Good karaoke if you want to come down here and check that out towards the evening. The good times out there. So definitely come on down here for Navarre Beach. So as I'm talking about it, we're going to venture out this way. So just give you a little preview of what it looks like where we're heading. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about too is a lot of people will come out here and they're going to be looking to possibly rent out some of these different properties. The thing that most investors are saying is, I don't want to necessarily spend the premium with the fact we may not actually get the same volume of renters out here because it's not as good as Destin, Miramar, Sandestin, right? Because the price point isn't necessarily less when coming out here to Navarre Beach when you're looking for a specific type of condo. But I will tell you that it seems like it's a bit undervalued because of that. However, I will say that you are going to get a different type of crowd that's going to come out to Navarre Beach than you are when you're going to get those out into Destin, Panama City, or anything like that. So let's continue up here. All right, so as we get closer into the water, we can see this is what it's all about. So the pier here is actually one of the largest and longest ones here on the Emerald Coast. And speaking about rentals as well, you'll see that the short-term rentals, the most that you're going to see is going to be here on Navarre Beach, and most everything else, it will either be the single-family homes or these short amount of condos that you see in front of us. But still plenty to go. There are still options for Airbnbs. You're just not going to get the same sort of return that you normally would get, say, if you were in more of a tourist destination. Of course, another negative that you may see out here is that we truly do in Navarre have limited dining options that are around here, as well as different shopping. So I'm over here in one of the Publix parking lots here, trying not to get hit by a car, of course. This is one of the coolest things that came through. We actually have a Starbucks here in Navarre now. You used to have to wait all the way halfway through Gulf Breeze, which was a drive to get there, or go all the way into Mary Esther. But when it comes out here, there's not a whole lot. They have been building quite a bit of infrastructure out here, and that's why we actually came to this plaza. Now, prior to this, and the reason we're coming out here is showing you that we actually do behind me have the original Publix plaza that had a lot of different things, to include obviously a grocery store, but you also had a couple of restaurants that is backed up in there too. One of the big ones that people loved here for restaurants was a military bar called Stripes that people had gone to. Now, this is pretty cool here behind us. We got a Buffalo Wild Wings, actually really cool in there if you want to go see for some sporting events. So you're not just limited anymore when you come out here, but they did put some big chains in, as well as a Chipotle that's down here. They've got a huge liquor store, ABC Liquors, that's down here as well. But the reason that we want to go in and look at this is because we've actually got a little bit better when it comes to walkability. Now, realistically, walkability in Navarre Beach is pretty awful. You're pretty much going to need a golf cart, which you can't cross 98 with, or you're going to need a vehicle of some sort to get around. Now, I will tell you as well, getting Ubers and Lyft or any ride share out here can be a little tough depending upon when it is. It's not impossible, but trying to get it towards the end of the day is a little bit rough, especially during the peak times, although it really depends upon the drivers. You usually are able to find somebody that is coming back and forth off of 98 here in order to actually get somebody, but just anticipate higher wait times when it comes to that. So I am going to kind of spin this camera around here so you can see behind me. What they did build was a bunch of apartment complexes that are off of all these different things, which helps with the walkability of the Navarre area. I mean, they're pretty nice, but it's really not connected to too much that you would go out to. But it is connected to restaurants and shopping. So I say all of this because you can actually get some decent places where you could walk out to things. Now, I'm going to talk about walkability in two different ways, because we got the ones that's here in Navarre, which is pretty sparse. I mean, in the main point here, also the walkability that you have down in Navarre Beach, because they've got that really long walk that's down there, and you've got biking, hiking, those sort of things. The things down there are pretty good for walkability to get to the beach, but there's really not much down there. You've got Juana's, you've got another restaurant. So there's maybe two, maybe three restaurants to go to. Everything else in one. Tom Thumb, I believe, is the gas station that's there. But other than that, you guys got to come across that bridge and be able to get to some things. So there are some really cool places that are popping up. Over the last few years, the infrastructure really has gone up. At the time of this video, again, being 2025, but you've seen a lot of infrastructure coming in just because they've built so many different homes, different areas, and we've seen this area grow quite a bit. We'll go ahead and check out some of the neighborhoods so you can get an idea of what this really looks like. So let's go ahead and walk over there. Well, I'm gonna drive. We're gonna go over there and check it out. All right, guys, so we are actually in one of the neighborhoods here in Navarre. This is actually one of the older neighborhoods, not necessarily Holly by the Sea, which is one of the more popular ones that we have out here. But one of the things that people have complained about, there's really sparse new construction and almost all the housing isn't really that modern. However, I will contend that, yeah, some of these things look pretty good, as you can see behind me. And then you have other ones that aren't necessarily looking that great as well. It's a little bit dated. Now, you are going to find a lot of these through the older parts of Navarre, but I will tell you that for the most part, everything stands out pretty well. As far as these homes, they actually do look pretty modern, and they are really kind of put in between all these. So let me spin me around so you guys can see. This one's actually for sale. Currently, a lot of these they say are going to be pre-2010 that we look in here, but I will give you some stats as well. Just I want you guys to know that median price points out here in Navarre around 435,000. Now that's a high all the way up to 3.75 million. Of course, those are the ones that are sitting there on the Gulf more than likely, and you can get as low as 160,000. Now I will tell you that we're not in the area that actually has the trailers that are throughout here. If you're in Santa Rosa County, actually I wouldn't anticipate that you're going to see too many other places that have more trailers, because you can't here in Santa Rosa County put a new trailer up. So everything else is older, already has one or something like that. So you're going to see a lot of those being torn down, and actually you're going to see new construction, like actual built on grade type properties. So yeah, you're not necessarily going to see that. Now, as far as statistics are concerned, I'll still continue to go around here so you guys can see. Out of 734 homes that were sold last year, we actually had 305 that were 2010 or more. So that's a 42%. So it's not all that bad, to be quite honest. 42% of those listings were 2010 or better. Now, if you guys are looking into the condo market, we'll go down and take a look at some condos down there. We'll head down to the beach, but you're looking at an average price point in there around 605,000. That's all the way up to what, 2.8 mil, and as low as 260K. But those aren't going to be the properties that are really nice. It may be a studio sitting there on the intercoastal waterway. But let's kind of flip this around. Again, guys, just want you to see the differences that we do see here. As we go through here, there are some things that we should be listening for and paying attention to. Mainly the thing that I'm always concerned about out here in this area for your single family is going to be your HOA fees. Now, that's another thing that we have here. HOA restrictions and zoning laws. Like I said, if you want to put up your own trailer, we can't do that necessarily, but most people that are coming here may not be looking to put something on wheels or without wheels or something prefabricated home, right? They may just be looking to come in here, but it does leave you some limitations if you are in a specific HOA that may restrict you from doing short-term rentals. Now, this is good if this is going to be your permanent home and you don't want some new visitors coming in all the time. This is in only certain parts of Navarre, but know that some of these zonings and expansions and things like that could affect you in the long term and the value of your home. So just kind of keep these things in mind when coming on out here. So let's continue to go. We've got more stuff to show you. So let's jump to the next thing that may or may not make you want to move out here. Now, another cause of concern that people have here is going to be the traffic. As you can see, it's kind of piling up here behind me. This is where you're going to see a lot of the delays. Now, it isn't all the time, mainly during that time between, well, we'll say the springtime, right when spring break comes around for the kids, all the way down until about the fall when kids go back to school. We're going to see a lot of backup, specifically here, as you can see, over in the Navarre Beach area. You can add an extra sometimes 20 to 30 minutes sometimes getting from where Hurlburt Field is all the way back here. Now, those are only specific times of the day, and it will be going one way versus the other. Now, in the morning, it's not so bad. We're going to be talking about, say, times that you'd be going to work, anytime between that 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. And then, of course, towards the evening, probably about 2:30, 3 o'clock until about 6. You're going to see a lot of this backup. Now, obviously, from Hurlburt Field, that's coming into Navarre, going out of Navarre, getting into Mariester, Fort Walton. That's where you're going to see a lot of it. So that's one thing to definitely consider, is going to be the traffic. There's not any other ways around. However, they are talking about building a bypass for you to be able to get around all the traffic on 98. Yet to be seen, but they are talking about it. They are making moves to put that in there to alleviate the traffic, or at least create an alternate route that doesn't take you all the way up to I-10 and around. Now, the reason a lot of this is happening is because they got a whole military base here on the north side here of Navarre, and well, northeast eastern part of Navarre. So it's not anything that we can put through because of the government land, but they are working on that. But again, that's something to consider if you do work in the Fort Walton Beach area or Destin or anywhere out there. All right, guys, that's all that we do have for the 7 reasons why you may not want to move here to Navarre. Hopefully you guys had a lot of really good information. If you're curious about investing in one of these or any of the homes here in the Navarre area, want some more information, guys, reach out to me, give me a call, shoot me a text. We'll have a one-on-one information to see if this is the right area. If this isn't it, guys, I've got more and more videos coming up. Please go ahead and check it. They'll be coming up here below. Click on those videos, check it out. We've got hundreds and hundreds of videos, not just about here in Navarre, but about everywhere here on the Emerald Coast. I love hearing from you guys. But again, check these things out. They're coming.